Welcome to another InWheelTime podcast.
Well, let's just get right to it, shall we? Our guest this hour is author John Brooks, who's talking to us from a little place just outside of London called Esher. And John, it's great to have you with us as the sun goes down there just outside of London.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a privilege.
Well, so are you a well-known author out there in Great Britain?
Not really. This is my first book as such.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I have written a couple of other things for wealthy people who want books about themselves racing.
Okay. Well, I can see that you've got all of the chapters right behind you there in the bookshelf.
Yeah. InWheelTime is going to be next.
Yeah, InWheelTime. And we'll take up the bottom shelf on that one. But at any rate, so my first question is Le Mans, the official history, 2000 to 2009. Now, Le Mans has gone on as long as I think I've been alive. Am I mistaken?
1923 it kicked off.
That was the year I was born. Yes,
Yeah, and then before that, in 1906, they had the first ever Grand Prix on a circuit, rather than a race between two towns or cities. But that wasn't near where the current circuit is. It was out to the east of the track. I think it took like 2 days and 14 hours or something. So they have a big history of motoring in Le Mans.
Well, you know, before you joined us, I was talking to my partners here on the show. I said, you know, there's something that's always been appealing to me about the cars themselves. And I assume it's been a while, but I assume that it's still open top sports car racing, basically.
Sadly, no. The last of the open tops disappeared in 16, 17.
Why?
Safety. In 2012, Audi made the jump from, 2011, Audi made the jump from open top cars like the R8 that dominated prototypes in the period covered in my first half of my book. And they shifted to a closed cockpit, partly because of regulations on tire changes, partly because the power was cut back. So aerodynamics became more and more important if you were going to maintain the speed. Mm-hmm. And in many ways, it was a very fortunate change because during the race in 2011, both Alan McNish and Mike Rockenfeller had massive accidents. McNish landed on the roof on the barriers just past the Dunlop Bridge, and Rockenfeller had some massive accident, ended up in the trees in the night. And they both stepped out and walked away. Okay, they went to the medical centre for a bit of a check. But had they been open cars, we might have been repeating what happened to Paul Michele Alboreto in 2001.
So they went in the right direction. And, you know, I guess the point that I was going to make is the fact that, boy, isn't that dangerous to have an open top car with today's speeds? Who are the manufacturers of the cars? Engines, chassis, that sort of thing, today?
Today? Ooh, you're asking a historian here.
From your book, from 2009, that's close enough. That's close enough to today.
That started with, shall we say, Audi dipped a toe in the water in 1999, and they ran an open car and a closed car, and they came to the conclusion the open was a much better option, which is a bit unfair on the closed car because the whole thing was thrown together in a matter of months. And in the end, the theories and the design of the closed car, the R8C, set off the train of thought that ended up with the Bentley, which was a closed car. But it's a lot easier to change drivers, a lot easier with problems with when it's wet or humid. There's no windscreen to keep to keep clean or keep clear. You didn't need to carry an air conditioning unit. However, the rules gradually pointed in that direction. They reduced the amount of power, etc. And that was going on even during the second half of the book period. Peugeot came with a diesel to chase Audi's diesel, and they ran a closed car. And while they only enjoyed one win at Le Mans, they beat Audi in quite a number of the other races. But Audi had a lot of very, very good people, but not just drivers, but the engine guys, the chassis guys, the mechanics, Reinhold Jost's team. Also, there was a considerable American contribution as well from Champion Racing down in Florida. So I must admit, I too think that the open-top cars look better in some ways. And but, you know, things move on, and we can't afford to have accidents where people are injured or worse. So that's how it's come about now.
John, let me ask you this. Why the time frame from 2000 and 2009? Was that something that you had a passion for, or was it a request?
Well,
how did you get to that time frame?
You might notice there's a number of books here. And there was a marvellous chap called Quentin Spurring, who had edited Autosport for 20 years and then set up his own magazine called Race Car Engineering, which is probably the top magazine dealing with technical stuff. And he decided one day that he was going to do a history of Le Mans. So he contacted the Automobile Club de l'Ouest and persuaded them. He got them to answer, which is quite amazing. Normally they don't bother if it's come from across the channel, but obviously Quentin was more influential than me. And he did 23, 29, 30, 39, 49, 59, 60, 69, etc., all the way to 1999. And he completed that in 2014. Then, unfortunately, his wife developed a nasty condition. And being the gentleman that he always was and still is, he decided that was it. He was going to stop, and his wife would be his focus from then on. As I said, a proper gentleman. And then somebody else had the book for a number of years. I won't say who it was. And they didn't turn anything in. And the publisher, Evro, and the saintly publisher director, Mark Hughes, eventually lost his patience with this chap and somehow gave me the job.
Huh.
I've been involved with a book for the GT side of things. Stefan Rettel, who runs the World Championship for GT cars, GT3, and he did a book to celebrate 25 years in business. And somehow or other, I got asked to do an essay, and Mark rather liked it, thought the style was okay. I have to say, I was quaking in my boots when I finally signed the contract, because how do you follow someone like Quentin Spurring?
Well, obviously, somebody thought that you were okay to carry on.
Willing to take the torch?
Yeah, one thing you learn, I mean, I now understand why the other guy didn't manage to turn things in. He writes for about 10 magazines. He's running and racing all over the world. He just didn't have the time. It makes me wonder how the guys like Clementaski, who held down a senior executive position at Ford, managed to turn out the amazing books he did and still does. I saw him a couple of weeks ago in London at the RAC Book of the Year Award, which he won one of the categories, at 91. I mean, it's quite amazing.
Oh, my God. It gives all of us hope.
Yeah.
Well, it does. It does. You should talk to him as well. He's an Evro publisher. I mean, he's just turned out a 3-volume thing on supercharging and turbocharging, and it's several hundred pages long, and you'd need a supercharged engine to lift the thing. But,
John, are you married?
I think I am.
I was going to say, because I was going to say, your wife is probably going to go, and you're writing what? Yeah, and you really are delving into turbocharging and supercharging. Way to go, John.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I chose not to do that. I mean, I had an advantage over a lot of people in that I took all the pictures in the book.
So that helps.
And that kind of leads into my next question. Is this one of those books that I want to buy for a Christmas present for somebody?
I think you should buy dozens of copies, frankly.
Exactly.
One of the things that I love about British folks is their sense of humor, and I've always been attracted to that, and you seem to fit the bill quite well.
Well, we have a lot to laugh about here. Laugh or cry.
Beats the crying.
Yeah.
That's exactly
I think
right.
that given my interest in America, and I do have an interest in America, there's plenty to laugh about and cry there as well.
Lord,
but having said that, I got very lucky. I was an accountant till 97. And then I was doing so much traveling around the world doing photography that the chairman of the design agency I worked for in London said, I think you should do it full time. The downside, of course, is no new BMW every 4 or 5 months. There was nobody to pay the expenses. Quite often you didn't get paid by the clients, or maybe it was just the rogues that saw me coming. So I got kind of lucky, though, in that I did manage to stagger on financially long enough to make it. And then in the decade following the one I've written about, I actually ended up doing PR and making a film. But in the 2000s, the early 2000s, I got lucky and ended up doing the American Le Mans series. Didn't cover every race, but the vast majority from 99 through to 2001. So I got to know North America reasonably well. And then I wrote for a number of websites, like Speed Hunters or Driving Line, and they were sponsored by Electronic Arts or a tire company, Nito Tire. So you knew the money would come in each month.
And you also know that we fit right underneath all of those famous and wonderful companies that you have worked for. Mm-hmm. And now you can brag about the fact that you have appeared live on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show.
Yeah. You're going to be getting calls from all over
the globe.
The next city.
Yeah. The next city.
Yeah.
There's that.
I'm sure. Yeah, well, I'm sure. But I mean, I've been lucky in that I got given the opportunity. I've been put forward for a couple of awards. I didn't win them, but even being selected is an honor.
You bet. You bet.
We've got the Guild of Motoring Writers over here, and they've got their dinner up at the RAC Club in Pall Mall on Thursday. So I'm one of the three there. Unfortunately, one of the others I understand is Mr. Carl Ludvigsen and his huge book on turbocharging and supercharging.
Yes,
so,
yeah. Your wife is a big fan of his.
Yeah. Yes. Fortunately for you and for me, my wife's at work currently. So
yes, exactly. Who are these heathens that you're talking to over there in the United States?
Quite.
John, so let me ask you, where is the book available? Can we get it on Amazon?
I believe so. I'm not sure who's distributing it in the States. It took an awful long. The book was originally printed in India, and then took a hell of a long time to get to the UK, 3 months or something, because you've got to go around the south of Africa now rather than through the Suez Canal for various reasons, which we won't go near. And then I believe there was some delay in getting the books over to North America. They've only recently arrived.
Well, I think that our Jeff Dziekan here probably had something to do with them coming from India. He is in touch with his cousin over there. Remember, cousin? Remember?
No, we're not going to mention that, cousin.
Okay. There's that.
We've taken the cousin out of the family.
Yeah, that's it, from India. John, it's great to talk to you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Say hey to the Crown family for us.
Yes, please do.
That's it for this podcast episode of the InWheelTime Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.